Bible in a Year, Day 19, readings from the Holy Bible, Genesis chapter 37, Job chapters 27 and 28. Genesis chapter 37. Joseph sold into Egypt. Jacob settled in the land where his father had sojourned, the land of Canaan. This is the story of the family of Jacob. When Joseph was 17 years old, he was tending the flocks with his brothers. He was an assistant to the sons of his father's wives, Bilhah and Zilpah, and Joseph brought their father bad reports about them. Israel loved Joseph best of all his sons, for he was the child of his old age, and he had made him a long ornamented tunic. When his brothers saw that their father loved him best of all his brothers, they hated him so much that they could not say a kind word to him. Once Joseph had a dream, and when he told his brothers, they hated him even more. He said to them, "Listen to this dream I had. There we were binding sheaves in the field, when suddenly my sheaf rose to an upright position, and your sheaves formed a ring around my sheaf and bowed down to it." His brothers said to him, "Are you really going to make yourself king over us? Will you rule over us?" So they hated him all the more because of his dreams and his reports. Then he had another dream and told it to his brothers. "Look, I had another dream," he said. "This time the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me." When he told it to his father and his father reproved him and asked, "What is the meaning of this dream of yours? Can it be that I and your mother and your brothers are to come and bow to the ground before you?" So his brothers were furious at him, but his father kept the matter in mind. One day, when his brothers had gone to pasture their father's flocks at Shechem, Israel said to Joseph, "Are your brothers not tending our flocks at Shechem? Come, and I will send you to them." "I am ready," Joseph answered. "Go then," he replied, "see if all is well with your brothers and the flocks, and bring back word." So he sent him off from the valley of Hebron. When Joseph reached Shechem, a man came upon him as he was wandering about in the fields. "What are you looking for?" the man asked him. "I am looking for my brothers," he answered. "Please tell me where they are tending the flocks." The man told him, "They have moved on from here. In fact, I have heard them say, 'Let us go on to Dothan.'" So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. They saw him from a distance, and before he reached them, they plotted to kill him. They said to one another, "Here comes that dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of the cisterns here. We could say that a wild beast devoured him. We will see then what comes of his dreams." But when Reuben heard this, he tried to save him from their hands, saying, "We must not take his life." Then Reuben said, "Do not shed blood. Throw him into the cistern in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him." His purpose was to save him from their hands and restore him to his father. So when Joseph came to his brothers, they stripped him of his tunic, the long ornamented tunic he had on. Then they took him and threw him into the cistern. The cistern was empty, there was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat. Looking up, they saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead. They had camels laden with gum, balm, and resin to be taken down to Egypt. Judah said to his brothers, "What is to be gained by killing our brother and concealing his blood? Come, let us sell him to these Ishmaelites instead of doing away with him ourselves. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh." His brothers agreed. Midianite traders passed by, and they pulled Joseph up out of the cistern. They sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. When Reuben went back to the cistern and saw that Joseph was not in it, he tore his garments. And returning to his brothers, he exclaimed, "The boy is gone, and I, where can I turn?" They took Joseph's tunic, and after slaughtering a goat, dipped the tunic in its blood. Then they sent someone to bring the long ornamented tunic to their father with the message, "We found this. See whether it is your son's tunic or not." He recognized it and exclaimed, "My son's tunic. A wild beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces." Then Jacob tore his garments, put sackcloth on his loins, and mourned his son many days. Though his sons and daughters tried to console him, he refused all consolation, saying, "No, I will go down mourning to my son in Sheol." Thus did his father weep for him. The Midianites meanwhile sold Joseph in Egypt to Potiphar, an official of Pharaoh and his chief steward. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Job chapter 27. Job's reply. Job took up his theme again and said, As God lives, who takes away my right, the Almighty who has made my life bitter. So long as I have life breath in me, the breath of God in my nostrils, my lips shall not speak falsehood, nor my tongue utter deceit. Far be it from me to account you right. Till I die, I will not renounce my innocence. My justice I maintain, and I will not relinquish it. My heart does not reproach me for any of my days. Let my enemy be as the wicked, and my adversary as the unjust. For what hope has the impious when he is cut off, when God requires his life? Will God then listen to his cry when distress comes upon him? If he delights in the Almighty and calls upon God constantly, I will teach you what is in God's hand, and the way of the Almighty I will not conceal. Look, you yourselves have all seen it. Why do you spend yourselves in empty words? This is the portion of the wicked with God, the heritage oppressors receive from the Almighty. Though his children be many, the sword awaits them. His descendants shall want for bread. His survivors shall be buried in death. Their widows shall not weep. Though he heap up silver like dust and store away mounds of clothing, what he has stored the righteous shall wear, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He builds his house as of cobwebs, or like a booth put up by a watchman. He lies down a rich man one last time. He opens his eyes, nothing is there. Terrors flood over him like water. At night the tempest carries him off. The east wind seizes him and he is gone. It sweeps him from his place. It hurls itself at him without pity. As he tries to flee from its power, it claps its hands at him and whistles at him from its place. Chapter 28. The poem on wisdom. Where is wisdom to be found? There is indeed a mine for silver and a place for refining gold. Iron is taken from the earth and copper smelted out of stone. He sets a boundary for the darkness, the farthest confines he explores. He breaks open a shaft far from habitation, unknown to human feet, suspended far from people they sway. The earth, though out of it comes forth bread, is in fiery upheaval underneath. Its stones are the source of lapis lazuli, and there is gold in its dust. The path no bird of prey knows, nor has the hawk's eye seen it. The proud beasts have not trodden it, nor has the lion gone that way. He sets his hand to the flinty rock and overturns the mountains at their root. He splits channels in the rocks, his eyes behold all that is precious. He dams up the sources of the streams and brings hidden things to light. As for wisdom, where can she be found? Where is the place of understanding? Mortals do not know her path, nor is she to be found in the land of the living. The deep says, She is not in me, and the sea says, She is not with me. Solid gold cannot purchase her, nor can her price be paid with silver. She cannot be bought with gold of Ophir, with precious onyx or lapis lazuli. Gold or crystal cannot equal her, nor can golden vessels be exchanged for her. Neither coral nor crystal should be thought of. The value of wisdom surpasses pearls. Ethiopian topaz does not equal her, nor can she be weighed out for pure gold. As for wisdom, where does she come from? Where is the place of understanding? She is hidden from the eyes of every living thing, even from the birds of the air she is concealed. Abaddon and Death say, Only by rumor have we heard of her. But God understands the way to her. It is He who knows her place, for He beholds the ends of the earth and sees all that is under the heavens. When He weighed out the wind and measured out the waters, when He made a rule for the rain and a path for the thunderbolts, then He saw wisdom and appraised her, established her and searched her out. And to mortals He said, See, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and avoiding evil is understanding. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.